Hey, what's up everybody? It's G-Man here and welcome to another episode of Out with the New, In with the Old, where we take a look at how gaming has changed over the years for the better, or worse. Filmed on location in front of a live studio audience, join me as we talk about freedom of choice in gaming. Groovy! It can be really easy to just start bashing the gaming industry every time you talk about retro gaming, but the truth is, modern games aren't really as bad as we sometimes make them out to be. You see, a long time ago on a console far, far away, video games were much simpler.
You worked your way from the left of the screen to the right, or vice versa, pressing a couple of buttons until the whole thing came to an end. And you always played a fairly clear-cut hero who had a pretty simple and clear objective.
Nowadays, games are more than just about beating the storyline as quick as possible. The way we can play them and approach the storyline can be limitless. With games like Grand Theft Auto, there's countless side missions to complete, and many RPGs feature loads of skills and abilities to unlock. You can build the type of person you want to be from scratch, even down to race and appearance. With some titles, you can pretty much get your money's worth without even worrying about the main narrative. In Fallout 3, there's a fairly run-of-the-mill story that involves you searching for your father, amidst a conspiracy that will determine the future of thousands of people. But that doesn't mean you're... In fact, you don't even have to focus on the main storyline at all. I spent a solid 20 or so hours just exploring the environment, playing the whole Thief with a Heart of Gold card.
What will it be then? Rapiers? Pistols at dawn? Out with it!
At one point I started hanging around with a guy who was a former raider and we tore the mutants of the wasteland a new hole. Not literally obviously, I mean in a metaphorical sense. Which I think is more powerful. You know what I mean? When I finally ended up getting back into the main storyline and reunited myself with my father, I was amazed that he had heard of my escapades and even more amazed that he actually expressed his admiration.
I'm very proud of you, even though you put yourself in harm's way.
It's a big change from a lot of older games where you're given a clear-cut path and little or no room to stray, often being given a time limit to make sure you didn't screw around too much.
Imagine being given that type of freedom in a platforming game like Super Mario Bros. Instead of having to fight all the Koopa Troopers, maybe you could sneak past them all unseen. And then when you got to Bowser's Castle, you'd use stealth and you could sneak up behind him and backstab him.
Well, that's not very gentlemanlike, is it? Shut up, Roger Moore. If the sales figures for the Elder Scrolls or Mass Effect games are any indication, I'd say that people really enjoy being given this kind of freedom, and I think the reason it's so fun is because we can become someone that we're not. I'm not going to go out in real life and break into people's homes and steal their jewelry, but I love doing it in Skyrim. It just gives us a break from the norm and lets us indulge in our own little fantasies, however twisted and criminal like they may be. And overall, it's just fun. I mean, isn't that the key word here? That's why we play games in the first place, isn't it?
And who's to say where games are going to be 10 years from now? I mean, imagine the possibilities. Someday you're going to be able to digitize yourself into the game completely. You can do things like, go to the office or, take your car in to get serviced. And there'll be like little mini games where you go to the supermarket and do your tax return. That'd be awesome. Actually, no, it wouldn't.
Alright, well obviously that would be pretty lame, but the level of detail is definitely going to increase. And when it does, you better hide your kids and hide your wife, because I'm going to be there with my in-game avatar robbing the shit out of them. Good times. Well, thanks once again for joining me on Out with the New, In with the Old. And remember, keep watching the skies. Until next time, goodbye.